right. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all Milanistas all around the world, wherever you are. So here we have for you here today another episode, another week, another episode, and yeah, some results to go over with regards to our favorite team in the world, AC Milan. So I've got with me here Shane, based in Kenya, and myself, Husni, in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So Shane, how are your feelings been this week? Are you holding up all good?
Yeah, really good, man. So as we'll talk about, obviously well, we're a really strange team. Um, so we've had great results in the UCL, really great results, and I think deservingly we deserve to be in the semis. And the thing is, then we're kind of going out with uh, what is essentially a B team in the Serie A, and then we're not doing so well. Well, we're doing awful, really. So obviously a lot of stuff to cover. But yeah, so highs, lows. I don't know. I think I feel a bit bipolar. Is that a thing? Is
Yeah,
this?
we're gonna feel something after the games that we watched. I mean, from you could say the lowest of lows because we feel that you top four is slipping away from our grasp, but then you feel somewhat of a high because now, as you've mentioned, we're back in the semifinals after so many years, and everyone's going back through the historical stats of okay, the last time that we were in the semis, we actually went on to win it. So if you go with those stats, like everyone's going to win it except for Man City, of course. If you're
Yeah.
at this stage of the tournament.
Well, that's good because if Man City win it, football is over for me. I'll pick up I'll start doing knitting or something like that. I don't.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more, but yeah, let's go on to our first game, and yeah, I'll put on the picture here. So this is just to recap the game against Bologna, which yes, as you can see on the screen, it's CDK, and like you mentioned, we played our B team. It was far from great. So you'd actually expect us to pick up 3 points against such teams. But did we do it? Did we do the job? No, we couldn't. And even though we tried to introduce a bit of magic towards the end, still couldn't get it across the line. And I do feel that it's going to cost us. I mean, it's already costing us, but it's definitely going to cost us come the end of the season because every point counts. And I've said it before that every game now it's a final because we need top four. I know UCL and where we're at, it's such a big plus and such progress and achievement. But without top four next season, I mean, unless we go and win it, win the Champions League, but without top four, I think it's a failure. There's no other way for me of looking at it. I mean, Shane, do you feel any differently about it?
Yeah, I feel the same really. Like, so the thing is look who we have around us in the table, right? And we'll talk about this in a bit, but we could have a new team that suddenly get 15 points given back to them, and it's like we get knocked out. We get knocked down another position in the table. So excuse for us finishing below Roma. Types of games that we're losing, the types of games, it's not
Sorry,
good.
guys. I don't
I
know if you
mean,
can still hear me, but yeah, Shane, can you hear me?
yeah, I
I
can
can't
hear
quite
you.
see you on the screen anymore.
Yeah, I
Seems a
can
bit
hear
of
you. Can
a
you hear me?
network issue happening. We've lost you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear
Can you
me?
give me a thumbs up, Shane? You can hear me, right? Oh, you can hear me.
Yeah,
It's strange. The sound is not
yeah.
coming out. Do you mind you rejoining, and I'll add you
Okay.
back? Sorry, guys, a bit of a technical issue. Yeah, so yeah, as Shane mentioned, I mean, just to speak a little bit while he's joining us back. Um, yeah, there's so many threats in the league. We shouldn't be below Roma, as Shane mentioned, and yeah, Juve is a problem. Uh, you there, Shane?
Yeah. Can
Okay,
you
yep,
guys
you're
hear?
back. All right,
Sorry about that.
sorry, you're saying yeah.
So yeah, so I think just to go back to it. So like if we're finishing below the likes of Lazio and Roma, this is a big problem. Especially with who we're dropping points to. There's one thing that the Bologna game that I realized during the Bologna game, though. I think why I know there's a huge lack in quality there in terms of our depth, right? But I think also what's part of the problem is that we acknowledge that there's a huge, like, a depth problem, and there's a big drop in quality. So why are we trying to play the same intricate pressing football with the let's say the B team than we are with the A team? I'd be happy enough if we just went to like long ball FC and just lumped it up there to try and hope that Origi just trapped it for long enough to lay it off to someone. I don't like it. It's like we're just trying to do this this press with players that just aren't of the quality. It's a really strange one, man. And because we don't have the quality of depth, we're dropping points because of it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but
What do you think?
it's a mystery, don't you feel? Is that the players that we have on the field, I mean, on paper, they are much better than Bologna, but we just couldn't get the job done. I mean, if we talk about Origi, he's actually the team B of Liverpool, and in that season while he was still Liverpool, they weren't doing that bad. I know they won the Premier League like once only, but then he was the team B and he did score some goals there. Then we got to go to the other players. I mean, CDK, he's won the league in Belgium, and of course, people say that Belgium, any team in Belgium is not like anywhere close to the top 5 league, but there is a player there who can win games for you and score goals, but we're not seeing it. This is why, and I keep repeating myself week in week out that it really come down to purely is that what is he doing to get these players ready? Because these players, they aren't under the same pressure as the team A. The likes of Leao, Giroud, Diaz, who train and then go on to play and start games and win matches. These other players, they're training, and they really have to fight for their spot. So I don't know. Is it a matter of the training regime whereby these players are just like kept on the fringes and like, okay, just watch how the other guys do it, and that's really affecting their confidence? Because if this is what we're going to keep seeing until the end of the season, and I'm really going to advocate this, is that our team B, if they don't play, for example, like when the team A starts or most of them play the games, this team B, they need to find like somewhat of a league to actually try to get that rhythm, get that chemistry, that match fitness, even if it's against a Serie C team, because we can't beat these lower place teams that are, you could say, relegation threatened, by the way. But we should be able to cleanly put them away, because the other teams, mid-table, lower half of the table, you can see how they perform against us. Like, it's easy, yeah? But then comes the other side of the argument, and people are saying that everyone wants to play against the champions and really show up against the champions. But really, as champions, we should play like champions. And there are players in the team that were part of the Scudetto winning squad. So yeah, it baffles me.
Cremonese and Lecce aren't good enough to show up and play against the champions. They're just not. Like, they're not. So like this argument now, if it's a situation where we're dropping points consistently against, let's say, teams in arguably mid-table and a bit, on the in the top, let's say the top 6 teams, right? Then you'd give that argument some merit. But the teams that we're dropping points against, like I said, Cremonese, Lecce, Bologna now. Although I'll give Bologna some credit, they are playing quite good football. They've been on a good run of form. But geez, these are teams that we should be confidently beating. And it's a weird thing because I can see us beating Juve because I think we still have to play them, right?
Them, Roma,
then
Lazio.
it's the lower ranked teams. See us winning those games. I just can't see us winning against Lecce.
But let's try to put a positive spin on this, yeah? So at the stage of the Champions League, and the Champions League is the ultimate barometer of seeing where the league is compared to other leagues, because it's a free fall, yeah? Everyone's playing each other. We have half the stage of semifinals is from Italian teams. And if Napoli were on the other side, for example, if they were in the place of Chelsea, for example, at the state that Chelsea is now, you might even argue that 3/4 of the semi-finalists might actually be from Serie A. Does this actually go to show, in contrast to what every one of the EPL or Bundesliga or La Liga fanboys keeps looking down on our league? Does this actually go to show that our league right now is the toughest compared to the other top 4 leagues or amongst the top 5? What do you think?
I think we need so we'd need consistent. Would need this to happen consistently, right? So 1 year isn't good enough, and especially 1 year where it's coming off a weird, mid-season World Cup. I don't think it's not a normal season. So we need to do this consistently, right? And it's very early to say it. I'm positive about the game. I'm positive about Serie A. There's nothing stopping it, but the problem is well, there's quite a lot stopping it. There's good luck trying to build a stadium anywhere in Italy unless you're Juventus, because apparently it's impossible. Yeah, like it's just really hard to say. I mean, there is an argument to be said, right? That okay, yeah, look, the Milan route to the semis, right, has not been. Put it this way: would we be having this conversation if we were on the side of, let's say, Real Madrid, Man City? I don't think so. I think we'd be annoyed because we probably got clapped, But thankfully, we're in the semis. So if
You know
it's
what I
coming
said, right?
back, I mean, I hope so. Yeah.
For those of you tuning in, it's like Shane and I were another WhatsApp group, and what I've said in that WhatsApp group is that this is actually it's a Copa run. So we played like Spurs, which is the equivalent of like a Sampdoria. Definitely nothing impressive from them. Then we go on to play Napoli, and now we're playing Inter. So the only real UCL game, in my opinion, is actually the final if we get there. Because before that, you got to look at our opponents. Yeah? Okay, Chelsea, when we played them, okay, they were on the upswing, and you could say that that is a team bought and paid for to try and win the Champions League. Okay, and we got slapped by them, but the rest of the teams that we played, I mean, what was it? RB Salzburg. What was the other team that we played? Was it Red? It's not Red Star Belgrade. It was
Dinamo Zagreb, wasn't it?
yeah, maybe Dinamo Zagreb.
Dinamo Zagreb.
I mean, look at those teams. Sorry to belittle everyone, but that isn't the lineup that you'd expect reaching up to a final, right?
That's true. That's true. But then it's yeah. I'm sure there's other teams that have had easier run-ins that have gone on to win it, and no one remembers the easy run-in that the team had. They just remember who's won it.
Exactly. But does that then add more pressure to say that we got to go win it? But come on, I mean, we go into the final. Think about
no.
who you might have to face up.
No, no one. I have no idea what's going on with this internet. Okay, I'm so sorry.
I think it's from my side. It's from my side, but
is it?
Yeah, we're still ongoing. It's okay. Yeah,
it's so weird.
Yeah, just
so weird. Sorry, guys. But
just a momentary.
But yeah, but so like, do you? So here's a question. So, Man City, Real Madrid, or Inter, right?
Yeah.
Our starting 11. I think arguably, if we did get through to the final, we were going through on such a high with no expectations of actually winning it, that I think that could do wonders for us. Because we'll have beaten everyone that was a problem in the Italian league, and the amount of confidence that will give us. And we'll go into the final playing against, let's say Real Madrid or Man City if we get there, right? And I mean, no one's going to rate us. No one's going to think. So, I mean, there's no pressure. Like,
yeah, I know what you're saying, and I mean, historically, we've actually performed better when there is no pressure, right? It's when we're actually under pressure and we think that we're top of the world. That's when we've actually stumbled. But yeah, I mean, I look forward to it, and time will tell. We've got to get past Inter, and regardless whether it's a semi-final, I mean, we need revenge, Super Copa revenge, and we played poorly against them second time against them, second part of the league. So yeah, it's time. Yeah, we've got to get our act together. Especially now we've got everyone back. No more excuses. That is the big
Yeah,
thing that I want to mention.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let's move on to the next one, and this is before that. Yeah, this game that we have here. This was the game 2 nights ago against Napoli, and what a game it was. Uh, you could say dominating performance, even though the scoreline was a draw. But Napoli didn't look like they were getting into it at all, and comfortably after Liao's goal, we defended well. I know a bit of a slip up, and that was Messias not marking Osimhen, but it really didn't look like Napoli were the champions that they so claimed to be throughout the season. Uh, because in the first game, the first part of the season where they beat us, it was a header from Diego Simeone, and that is the sort of performance that actually takes them all the way to the finish line. But in this game, yeah, we went in with a 1-0 lead. We took the goal before the end of the first half, and by then it was already too late. Luckily, we didn't have a luck. Yeah, luckily they didn't have a away goals rule, because then we would have been even more relaxed and just counted on the fact that Napoli had to score 3 goals just to beat us. So
Mm.
yeah, I mean, what was your view on how we played against the game, and any stand-up performance that you think deserve praise?
So yeah, so my view of the game is that you remember the first game of this season,
Yeah,
so against Napoli, and Napoli were very clinical. They had little to no shots on the goal, but they were very clinical. It was role reversal for these 3 games. We were the opposite. We were very clinical, and Napoli were just wasteful. Most of the shots from Napoli were either coming from outside the box, or it was becoming so predictable because it was literally just cut it out to the Napoli wing and then trying to cross in, try and get it to Osimhen, and it wasn't working, which is great. Obviously, it's great for us. Um, I still it's a bit strange to see the best Italian team ever play like this, right? Awful IFTV coming up with that headline. My God. Anyway, yeah, but you see the stats. Like, so let's talk about the first half, or the first game. It was what it was. I think we were very professional. We played like a team that deserved to be in the quarterfinals and now the semis. We played like a team that was well experienced in actually playing on this level, which most of the players aren't, which I thought was super impressive. Um, so the first game, it was very cagey, but then obviously Benacer came up, got that goal. That was great. That put us in a good standing. Of course, the Napoli fans not realizing that they've been, beaten by us twice in the last couple of weeks, were still confident for some reason. So we came out then, and obviously, great run by Leao, just like Hullet, right? I'm saying it, right? Came up, got the ball in the Milan half, right? Just ran, got past. I mean, it wasn't Anguissa for this game. What was the other guy? The guy that
it was
needs to lose a bit of
Ndobile. I
weight
saw Ndobile. He lost
in
the
the
ball
Napoli
actually.
midfield. Yeah, no, like,
Yeah, he lost the
well, I
ball. It
tell you, he
went to
needs to lose some
Liao.
weight because that's
Yeah, some
yeah.
the pundits are really like slating him for that, saying that he's a big boy now.
No, like he was never catching Leao, and then Leao slots it into Giroud. Giroud gets the goal. I think that was after the missed penalty from Giroud, wasn't it?
Yes, yes, it was. Yeah, the penalty actually came first,
It
and
was.
also
That was
Giroud
after
had
the
a good
missed penalty.
chance.
Yeah.
I think about 5 to 10 minutes after
Mm.
that, I think, where he was one-on-one with the keeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. Okay, I'm here. Waiting for your video to come in. No. Okay, I'm here. Sorry, everyone. Just getting through some technical issues. Waiting for your video to come in. No. Okay, I'm here. Sorry, everyone. Just getting through some technical issues. Waiting for your video to come in. Okay, I'm here. Sorry, everyone. Just getting through some technical. Yeah, sorry, Shane. I can't seem to get your sound on. Try it again. Okay. Yeah, once again, sorry everyone. It's a bit of a technical issue, and yeah, just gonna recap the Napoli game. See what happened there.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Let's just get right back into it. Sorry everyone for those joining us. Yeah. So yeah, we were saying in terms of the Ruud Gullit performance of Liao.
Yeah, man, it was amazing. So I just passed it into the Giroud slotted it home. Absolutely great. I think, to be honest, I think Krunic was absolutely amazing in that game.
I hate to say this, but I agree with you. I thought that was one of his best games this season.
Honestly, look, again, not world class, but man, did everything he was asked, and
not world class,
just
but
class.
just class.
just absolute class, man. I mean, really did a number. Really did a number on Napoli. So, the best news is that obviously we're not going to be missing players for the return leg. So I was a bit concerned because Tonali was originally given a yellow, but that was for Theo.
Yeah, I didn't see that incident. What was it for? It happened towards the end of the first half. I noticed.
I think it was something stupid. Like I think Theo had actually tackled someone, right? And then the referee made a mistake and he gave the card to Tonali. And then he realized his mistake and then gave it to Theo, which is great because obviously us missing Tonali is, I mean, who are we going to put in midfield, right? So yeah, it obviously great result, man. Not to cover too much, shocking behavior by Napoli. Absolutely shocking behavior by the Napoli fans. What happened? Not to give it too much airtime, but honestly, people acting like that just shows why they're a small time club. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I hope they celebrate their third Scudetto in since the start of the league. I hope they really celebrated it because it's probably going to be a long, long time before they get another one.
Their trophy their trophy room, right, wouldn't fit Maldini's trophies.
It's not a trophy room; it's a trophy shelf.
The shelf, yeah.
It's like one of those IKEA shelves you can buy for like $1 or something like that, drill on your wall. That's the size of all the trophies.
De Laurentiis is just like, because he's too cheap to hire someone to clean it. He's going up, with the polishing it every day. That's nice.
Okay, well, there was
but anyway,
another person that I want to speak about, and this is an individual that's been absolute goal for us, and a lot of people actually wrote him off when he joined the beginning of last season. Now he has renewed, and I just want to spend a bit of time actually to speak about his impact on the club, because there's no doubt about it. It's actually been quite immediate. You'd actually expect many players to take quite a while acclimatizing, getting used to the rhythm, how we do things. But Giroud, being the absolute professional like he is, became one of our top scorers. If not the top scorer, was it in our team for last season? Even though it was like I think below 20 goals. But then his contribution and his place of the team is it's unquestionable. How would you actually rate Giroud's performance up until the renewal yesterday? And I think you'll agree when I say that he's actually deserved it. And I also take this opportunity to big shout out to Paul KB joining us on the chat as well. So hi Paul.
Hi Paul.
So what do you think?
You're forgetting to look at the chat. Sorry, man. No, but yeah, I think look, it's really good. It's really strange that we bought Origi, who should be in the prime of his career, to do the same thing that Giroud does, like hold up play essentially, and he can't do it, which is very strange to me. But anyway, probably gone in the summer. So Origi, of course. I mean, but Giroud, yeah, obviously, I think he's done. You know, he has done more than enough to validate the renewal. I think Ibra's gone in the summer. It's probably, you know, it's high time he retired, get him off the books. We get in someone, you know, hopefully younger. Um, so I mean, overall, good result for us. They're talking about trying to renew Maignan as well, sooner rather than later, because obviously him being the best goalkeeper in the world, yes, he is. You know, it's great that they lock him down for a couple of years. So yeah, I think things are looking good. Just to tie down Leao now as well, quickly. But I mean, you know, it's not just assembling the great players; it's actually keeping them together. So hopefully, we come into the phase of actually doing that and doing it well. I mean, there's nothing stopping this team for the next couple of years. But Giroud definitely has, yeah, he's warranted his stay. He's been a great professional. Um, Honestly, deserves it. Bit of a drop off after the World Cup, which is understandable because when you're in your mid 30s and you've had to
Late
play the
30s
World
now.
Cup,
Yeah.
yeah, late 30s, sorry, late
Mhm.
30s, and you've had to play all the way up to a World Cup final and then come back and basically get run into the ground for your club. I mean, yeah, honestly, dude, he's earned it. Well
Okay.
deserved.
I just want to pose a question to you, Shane. And when you talk about renewals, and we've had several players that we've actually had renewal problems with.
You're
So
going to mention Salamakers.
not only that, but I mean, I'm
You
looking at the
are,
trend. So
yeah.
Theo, we've never really had a renewal problem. Giroud around the same thing, renewal problem. I don't expect Mike actually to be a renewal problem. And these are starting members of the French national team. And then you compare to some of our other players who, okay, they start for their national teams, but you wouldn't put them to be like the top national team in the world. They don't seem to have. No, they don't. They actually have a issue renewing contracts with us. So it is something that we have like with this French connection that just makes it that much easier. Or I mean, I don't know, but it just seems so seamless when we deal with these players from France.
So it could be a bit of that, but keep in mind. So I mean, a couple of the renewals that failed, I guess. So there was Donnarumma,
Yeah,
which worked out well for us.
yeah. And by the way, for
Uh,
Gigio, we were offering money, a salary package to him that Liao actually wants now, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, yeah, it sounds about right. Sounds about right. And of course, you look at his performances now for PSG, and you'd wonder, wow, imagine if we were stuck with that. So, I think it's it. The answer is yes, maybe. I think there is a context to it of the French guys seem to feel at home in Milan, which is great. It's a great breeding ground for talent. Um, but then when you look at the likes of Chalanoglu, I mean, then you look at Kessie going.
Romagnoli.
Well, I think Romagnoli. To be fair to Romagnoli, I think that was 100% the club's screw up as opposed to Romagnoli because he wanted to stay. He did
Yeah,
want to
but
stay.
I think the management they did offer him something, but it was just too far below what he wanted.
Maybe, maybe. But I. But I think the only reason I'm confident in a Leao renewal, the only reason why I think it's taken so long, if this 20 million Sporting Lisbon fine wasn't a factor, Leao would be signed up 6 months ago. It's just to cross the I's and dot the T's over who's actually going to pay that and by what means. And once that's done and put to bed, hopefully we get a Leao who's fully focused, who's not worried about paying a ridiculous fine that he shouldn't be paying. And then it's going to be amazing. But keep in mind that this is an important factor, right? So we lost Donnarumma, right? The world was ending, right? And we replaced him with Maignan, who's the best keeper in the world now, right? we lost Romagnoli, right? And we got in Chow, right? Who was obviously still very green, but has a lot of potential as a player, right? So not a huge drop off in quality there, right? Kessie hasn't been replaced. That's a big problem. Çalhanoğlu, I think we got Diaz in for Çalhanoğlu, right? And it was like
Yes,
for like
yes.
because the two of them are just ridiculously inconsistent.
I think Hakan, he wore the number 10, I think. Yeah? Yeah,
I
she
think
wore,
so. Yeah,
he wore number 10 in the
yeah.
club.
Well, when he showed up, you know, just like Diaz, very inconsistent. But I can tell you this as well, right? And I'm going to put it. I'm going to say this. No team is winning a Champions League with Çalhanoğlu playing.
Yeah, yeah.
He just doesn't have that quality. I'm sorry. So
Well, there's
feel
only
free
one way
to
to
at
find
me.
out, and
But
we really got to do the job. This is how we actually prove that point. My concern is that, and we've seen this happen, yeah. So when we're in somewhat of a comfort level, the team performance drops quite significantly. And I don't know if we're like celebrating ahead of our in advance, but yeah, the saying goes, "Don't count your eggs before they're in the basket."
I just to go back to that, and I think just to reiterate my point earlier, I think an awful lot of it, not to slaughter Pioli like we have done in the past, especially during the bad run that we're on, but if you know that you have a huge drop off in quality when it comes to your backup, your bench players, and you need to play them, right? They can't be expected to have this like high intensity, pressing, kind of mentality that the starters have, because the starters have the talent to be able to pull it off. But if you know that you're fielding players that don't, give them another way of playing, because you like our football when we're doing it properly is great to watch. But the problem is if you're putting on players that can't facilitate that, then you as the manager have to go, okay, so I need to change it for the B team. Long ball FC is completely fine if it's getting us 3 points every couple of games. I don't think anyone will care.
But let's question that for a moment. Yeah. So whatever tactic it is, if it's long ball or if it's like a tiki taka, whatever Pioli decides to ask the team B to do, look at it this way: he's had a week or more, and I think more with this set of players to actually get them into a system that works for all of them. Because it's a complete, what we saw against Bologna, it was a complete rotation. What have these players actually been doing for several months that they can't seem to do for a game against Bologna? This is what really gets to me, is that isn't it the coach's job to get these players ready to play for such games? I mean, it's like we all go to school, we all go to university, whatever it is. You study a year to do an exam at the end of the year. Why aren't you ready? And this is the question that I have. Why aren't you ready? And a lot of fans actually going back and blame the individual performance of the players, but then yeah, the players are only playing to a way that they've been trained and they've been coached and they've been told what to do. Yes, there is that personal ability, but you have to say that the reason why they're in AC Milan in the first place is because Maldini and co, they judge their personal ability to be quite high. They have good potential. They're actually good players. And for some of the players, and I'm mentioning it, Rebic, we've seen a level where he's actually been amazing. We remember those days, yeah? Remember the first, the second season, he was at least, they were saying like, oh, he's a second half of the season player, but that second half of the season is easy 11 goals. Now it's like, what is he still stuck on 2 goals from like the first game of the season or the first 2 games? So
And when he's
I don't
played,
understand
he's
the
looked
problem.
like he's just not there anymore.
But why is he
It's
not
been
there? It's not
concerning.
like he's not being given game time. We have players on the bench that have near zero game time. Brackets Adley. So what more does this player want? And if he really wants to be in the starting 11, he just has to play better. And I remember it. Yeah, we all remember the games whereby Rebic was favored over Liao because Liao was like lazy, doesn't know his positioning, he's always in the wrong place, he doesn't know what to do. But the tables have turned, and it seems now Rebic is that guy. But he has way more experience than Liao. I mean, it's what 29, 30 now. Liao is like
Yeah,
20.
it is. You're right, man. It's a really funny thing, and this is why even with Origi, I thought I never thought we were getting a world beater, but I'm just surprised that he hasn't. He's been as ineffectual as he has been because he's built like a tank,
Yeah, he's like,
right?
I think in terms of his physique, he's like Lukaku, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he's built like a tank, and it's just he doesn't. It's like he's always trying to look for a smart pass, and he's trying to hold it up instead of just trying to do it simple, and keeping it simple, and simple is usually more effective. So he always looks to do something super flashy or score a flashy goal. But the thing is that you might get one in 20 of those chances. But what about the potential 19 other layoffs that you could have done instead of wasting the ball? So I don't know. I mean, even if we did keep him, I mean, his style of play has to change. He has to just do more basic stuff and do it well. And I think if he did that, we'd get some value out of him. But the way that he's playing, it's like he's always trying to get the Pushkas Award winner. I just don't understand it. It's weird.
All right. Well, yeah, I completely agree with you. And I think in the next few months, because it's coming up towards the end season, we only have about 8 games left. If I'm not mistaken, it's like in terms of calendar months, what, 1.5 months left of game worth of games, and then we're done.
Yeah, it's
That is
not
already
good,
the
man.
Mercato. There really needs to be a lot of thought put into what is then the recruitment strategy, because, and I'm blaming the ownership and also the management here. If you don't have a lot of funds to play with to do something, don't just get anyone, because we have players in the Primavera. We still have Colombo out on loan. We still have Daniele Maldini. I don't know what is the plan for these players, because they tick the boxes, on the squad list level, because they're Italian, they're youth products, they easily fit into our UCL squad.
The
But
thing
there is
is
absolutely zero
sell
trust on
what we don't need. Like sell what we don't need. Like things. I'm I'm pretty sure we could get 20 or 30 million at least out of this squad if we got rid of players that are providing no value,
But we
right?
end up signing more players that provide no value. I'll give you an example.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't understand why we bought out Florenzi. I really don't get it. He doesn't take anything to do with the project. Yeah, he's not young. He has a bad injury record. Okay,
His
he scored a
passport.
few goals. He's not exactly like the quickest right back, or one of the quickest right back in the leagues.
It was his passport, honestly.
Yeah, but there's other
And
guys there who have the same passport. I mean, like the population of like how many tens of millions in Italy. But
yeah,
they went ahead and they actually redeemed Florenzi. I don't get it. I really don't.
it is a bit of a strange one, man. I'd like It'll be interesting because the thing is I think despite my complaining about Pioli when we're going through that bad, horrific losing streak and losing games how we were, I think he's done enough to justify not just staying, but he's done enough to justify, players that he requests for this team. I don't. So, whatever. I don't think Adley was a player that he's requested because if he was, I think Adley be playing more.
But why? How can they
Um,
make these decisions then, right? I mean, the management or
mm,
the directors, Maldini and Massara, don't tell me they're on a completely different page to the guys who are actually running the team, coaching the team, and getting them ready to play games.
I think they are. I think they are.
It doesn't make sense, right? Maldini was a player. He must know that, hey, the coach didn't ask for this guy. On suddenly, like, I'm forced to train with him. Like, what is going on? Another player, and we really have to put him on the spotlight because this is his second season. Paulo Torre. Why is he still in the team?
I don't know what metrics they use because the way they're talking about when they're scouting players now, it's like, oh, we have all these metrics and these algorithms that we use. What metric did they use for Ballo?
These players, I really don't get it. I mean,
I
this is why,
it's like,
you
do you know what the thing is? The interesting thing is, right? It's like no one is expecting Ballo, right? Ballo-Torre to be half of the player Teo is, right? All people are expecting is you can do the job relatively well. when you're called upon. But he doesn't even do that. He doesn't do anything on the defensive side. He does very little on the attacking side. So he doesn't do anything properly, really. He's not adding a layer of value that you can depend upon. So it's not just because he's like, oh, we're comparing him to Teo. We're not. No one is. But the thing is the
He's
difference
just there to
between.
give Theo a breather.
This is it. It's like, remember, as bad as Kessie was, or sorry, as average as Kessie was towards the end of his contract, right? But remember, we used to have Tonali, Benacer, and Kessie,
Yeah.
and we could rotate the three of them. That's quality depth, having those, right? So there's a big difference in between having Tonali, Kessie, and Benacer, and you can rotate them, compared to having Ballatore and Teo. Do you see what I mean? The drop off is so steep. Like, I mean, they're talking about, was it Parisi from? Is he from Empoli?
Yeah, but Parisi, he's a good player. He's not going to want to be like, Parisi, sorry, you're going to stay with the bench for like most of the season, and I'll only give you like 2 games a season. No one's going to accept that kind of deal. This is why we have Ballatore. This is
You
why then
don't
it comes back.
know.
For me personally, it comes
You
back to
don't know.
Pioli. What can he
Yeah.
guarantee these other players in terms of playing time? Because when they need it, and God forbid Theo gets injured or in training or something, we're going to be stuck with Ballatore. This is the reality.
Well, what he can offer him is he can say, like, look, when you're not playing or you're not training. I mean, Milan's a lovely fashion city, so you can go out and buy all the clothes you want.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about it. No, but like, seriously though, so I don't know. Yeah, it is. See, that it is a good point though. It's like, well, if you get in a young player, it's like, you're going to have to probably go in with the expectation that you're just going to be playing second fiddle to Teo Hernandez, and good luck getting first. Good luck getting a nod over Teo any day of the week.
But they
But
should be able to. I mean, come on. Games like Lecce, Bologna, do you really need Theo there? Honestly,
no,
Cremonese, do you really need Theo there?
no,
We shouldn't. Coppa Italia,
not
we
if
don't really need Theo there.
if you had a competent cam and a competent striker, that would cover so many problems.
Yeah.
Because even if the rest of the team aren't up to scratch, if you have a competent cam and a competent striker, they can get you goals out of nowhere, right? But the problem is what we're doing is we were conceding a lot at the back, and whereas before with the likes of Giroud and obviously Leao when he was on form, we'd always score more, and that was the way it was. But then that stopped, right? But so if you get in a cam and a striker, you'd be surprised, like these games are winnable even if they're ugly. Winning 3-2 is still better than drawing 0-0 or obviously losing. So I don't know. I just think the big difference is that, look, Pioli, he's a smart enough guy. He should understand at this point that if my depth is junk, I can't expect my depth players to play the same type of football as my starters. Long ball FC it, try and get a penalty. Do whatever the hell you want, really, essentially. But it doesn't have to be technical because there's no point. These guys are never going to start for the most part, right? But just expecting the same, like the very average players that we have to pull off the same type of football is ludicrous. It hasn't worked. It's not working. It's like we're passing it into the box thinking we're Barcelona. Next thing it's getting to like Origi, or it's getting to like Messias or CDK, who like completely it's like he's switched off. I'm hoping what happens with CDK is he's not going to be sold in the summer. I don't think he will, but I think what will happen is I think he needs a full summer's training session with the team where he can just reset and say, you know what, this year was junk. I'll just start again.
Yeah.
And once he
I
does
hope he
that,
has
it should be
that
okay.
mindset as well. And it can't be,
Yeah.
reliving the flashbacks of like the horror shows that we've seen of CDK.
Yeah, because I mean the Bologna game was a great example. I mean I nearly forgot CDK was playing.
Yeah, this is for me the ultimate indicator. It's like, when you see his name be mentioned, it's like, oh, is he actually on the field?
Yep.
You don't know what he's doing even. So
And
yeah,
and, and it's weird, right? Because the thing is there's been games where I forgot Benacer has been playing, right? But the whole reason why I'd forgotten Benacer had been playing for the most part is because he just does everything so well that he keeps everything quiet.
yeah,
But when you have an attack and when the focus of your attack, you don't even remember them playing against Bologna. This is a bad problem. Like, this is really bad. It's like, oh man.
all right. So yeah, about the next game. Yeah, so we're playing Lecce, if I'm not mistaken. Next game. What are your expectations of that, and what do you think Pioli will do, especially when it comes to the player selection? Because you got to admit, our team A is quite pretty much knackered now. Number of games that they've had to play, and they also subbed on. I think Liao and Giroud made it onto the field against the dying minutes of Bologna. So, do you think it'll be another rotation, or will we see more starters from the Napoli game?
As painful as it is, I think there should be a full rotation again.
Okay.
Right. The only difference being, I think, is that if we're still playing it the way we are at half time, if there still isn't a goal, then that's maybe time that you can bring on Leao. Please give Giroud a rest. Because even with Leao's the type of players that he can literally, it doesn't matter who he passes it to, he's going to lay it up on a plate for someone. And I think even Origi could get some of those tap ins. So leave Giroud alone, as far as I'm concerned. He needs a break. So I would fully go with a complete rotation. Obviously, you let Maignan in. Hopefully, Kalulu is Kalulu due back.
Yes,
He
yes, yes,
is.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kalulu's due back. So yeah, I mean, if Kalulu is due back, that's a bit of good news. We
And
can't
by
be
the
in a
way, it was
situation
his
where
fault on the Bologna goal in the first minute, the first 30 seconds.
who
Kalulu, I think.
Kalulu? No, he wasn't playing Bologna,
He was, yeah, he was starting.
was he?
Yeah.
This is how you know I had beer during the game. He was. What
Yeah.
happened? Okay. All right. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, and just looking at that lineup as well, Ranks was so disappointing. There's not a good thing I could say about that.
But whatever it
I
is, I
mean,
mean, for
hmm,
Lecce, we need the 3 points. And I think this is where Pioli needs to be more aggressive in view that whoever's not performing in the first half an hour, you just have to take them off in the first half. This
I'd even
16th
give him the
minute
first
start.
half. I'd even give him the first half because what I don't see is I don't see Lecce scoring like a huge amount of goals against us. I think in the worst case it's going to be a draw. So what I'd probably do is I like wait till half time. Wait till half time. If you see that what you have isn't working, right? Put on Leao. At least you've given him some bit of a rest. But this thing about waiting till like, I mean, when did let me just check the match stats. It
You
doesn't
know
tell
what
me. I
worries
wanted
me
to
about
see when he
Liao?
did the
Because we are
substitutions. Yeah.
so highly dependent on him. If he goes down injured for whatever reason, we're dead.
Do
This is
not,
the truth of it. We're
do
dead.
not, do not say Leao injury ever. No, I know. No, you are. You're right. You're right. But the players that we have now, they definitely won't fix that dependency. That's why we need something serious in the summer, in terms of new players. But there's no earthly need for us to have a squad this size, even in the Champions League. Because the problem is we have a big squad, but we just don't have quality players in it. So get rid of the junk.
Yeah,
You
fully
know,
agree with you. All right.
that's
Well,
it, man.
yeah. I think the last part that I want to speak to you about today is I think you can check your group chat.
Hmm.
Okay, fine. It's not there. I thought I had uploaded the picture. Is that yeah? There's some new merchandise in the AC Milan store with Off White. I don't know how everyone feels about this, but yeah, $231 for Off White collab with the club. Let me see if I can
Why?
just pull out the picture. I think it's
Why would someone pay that for a polo or a t-shirt?
it's a T-shirt. It's a T-shirt.
and someone will pay to someone will,
Someone will.
not realizing how cheap t-shirts are to make, that you can literally probably print one yourself that looks the exact same for less than $5. Someone will actually pay for this. Amazing. Anyway,
Well, that's
as you
why it
said,
came very
Forza
ahead of the
balance
curve.
sheet.
When our
Yeah,
when our jackets come in, then we'll be ahead of those.
we're we're
We'll show
we're
off.
ahead of exploiting money out of stupid people. You're
No, we're
right.
cutting out the middleman and going straight to the source.
That's it.
Because we all know it's actually not made in Italy. It's probably made somewhere else in Asia, being shipped to
That's it.
in the
That's
container,
it.
being branded there.
That's it. No, but the thing is, it's fine because if you don't want to buy this, what you can do is, just go to the stadium and instead and spend like $600 for a ticket.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, you
good.
could.
That's going to be the way it is for Papa Jerry's vision, I guess.
Okay, well, that's just my closing statement. So, yeah, Shane, any other closing thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, obviously, I have a good feeling about the Champions League. I have a good feeling about the draw with Inter. I just think even if we, by a miracle, if we did get to the UCL final, we're going in with no pressure. We're the underdog. No one's expecting us to do it. It gives the team plenty of space to just be themselves. And I think on our day we can beat anybody. So yeah, let's fucking see how it goes. And finishing in the top four is going to be an achievement, but I think we can do that as well because I think we have better quality than the teams around us. Please, Pioli, don't expect the B team to play like the A team. Just long ball it. We'll bring it home. It's fine.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the schedule. Just adding on to what what you're saying is that we have a bit of a decent sequence in between the games. So we have Lecce next, Roma after that. The games do look a bit tight, so we're playing like every 3 or 4 days. However, they are weak. Not to say weak because we've performed not too great against these teams in the past. But there are teams lower down the table in between that should give us some breathing space.
That's why we're going to struggle, though.
Yeah, but we got Roma. That's our direct rival for top four. Lazio, if we can take points off them.
Sorry, let's not overhype these guys. Honestly, dude, let's not even forget the league position. They're not doing this in the normal season.
Yeah,
they're not getting second.
But we need 3 points, regardless. All these teams, we need 3 points, and we got our boogie team Spezia. That I remember 2 seasons ago turned out like a real prime Barcelona against us. We got to do the job.
Maldini's going to score at least one, so we're going to have to win by 2 goals. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Shane, for hosting for tonight. And yeah, we look forward to next week, and hopefully we'll be 3 points in the bag in the next few games. And Forza Milan as always, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Take care, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Italia!